millions of dimes, filling Mexico, USA, and Canada with dimes. And then he would take these dimes all of the way to the moon. Okay, he would have dimes covering whole of North America and taking them one upon another up to the moon. Okay, that's about 384,000 kilometers away. So we are talking about billions of dimes. And then he would paint one of them with red color, okay? And he would put it somewhere there in the States, somewhere in between the Earth and the Moon, okay? This is how many dimes you have. And you see, you have one chance, and you should be blindfolded, okay? You have one chance to take it out. If he would take it out on the first time, this is 1 in 10 to the power of 37. This is, when you think about it, you would say, this is impossible. But when scholars are mentioning impossible, they are mentioning numbers that are even higher than this, okay? I want to mention this. It might be a bit hard to understand, but I will mention it because we will see that life on earth is even more impossible than that. Okay? Look at the fine-tuning of the universe. This is a scholar in astrophysics, Hugh Gross. He has a book called Why Universe Is That Way. He said that scholars, they have found fine-tuned features of the universe to accept life, that there is possible that it can be life on earth. Okay? And they are speaking about the lowest form of life here, bacteria. Okay? So the chance that it could be a bacteria, in the beginning, 1995, they found 41 different features that has to be designed. Okay? And then they found more and more things until 2006, when he wrote the book. He said that 676 different features. So it has to be water, it has to be carbon, it has to be so and so and so on. The sun has to be the right distance from Earth, and all of these things that they are mentioning that is fine-tuned on this Earth. So he said that the chance that briefly existing bacteria would exist is 1 to 10 to the power of 311. You remember 1 to 10 to the power of 37. And they say that 1 to 10 to the power of 50, that's impossible. Now I was speaking about just existing bacteria for a short while. High-tech human beings, 1 to 10 to the power of 1050. So we are talking about human beings living on earth by accident without a creator. It's not only impossible, it's impossible. So atheism is impossible. Atheism is belief in the impossible, to be honest. We're not talking about covering America with dimes. We're talking about covering the earth and going up to the sun and so on. These are things that are impossible, you know? But still they believe in it. They're going against the fitrah and they're going against science at the same time. So the sign in living beings. If we can see the levels of organization for life functions. So we have everything is made up of atoms, and atoms they make molecules, and molecules they make cells, and cells they make tissues, and tissues they make organs, and they make organ systems, and they make organisms. So we as human beings are made of cells. And the cells, they make tissues, and tissues, they make organs. We have organs inside of ourselves, like our heart and lungs and so on. And the organs, they make organ systems together, that work together. And the organ systems together make human beings. And the atoms, the cells themselves are very highly designed. So how many cells do we have inside of our bodies? They say, the scholars have mentioned that we have 37,000 billion cells inside of ourselves. Every single human being has 37,000 billion cells inside of themselves. And every single cell is more complicated and much more designed than the best factories that we have. Subhanallah. Just think about that. We are going around as miracles with all of these things inside ourselves. And this is a scholar who said that the likelihood of the formation of life from inanimate matter is 1 to a number with 40,000 noughts after it. It's big enough to bury Darwin and the whole theory of evolution. There was no primeval soup, neither on this planet or any other, and if beginnings of life were not random, they must have been the product of purposeful intelligence. And he also mentioned a very interesting parable. He said the chance that human life came about on earth is like, he said the chance that higher life forms might have emerged by chance is comparable with the chance that a tornado sweeping through a junkyard might assemble a Boeing 747 from the materials therein. I'm at loss to understand biologists' widespread compulsion to deny what seems to be obvious. So he said the comparison of this, that human beings came about by themselves without a creator, or life on earth came about by itself without a creator. It's like a tornado going into a junkyard like this, and after it's finished, there's a Boeing 747 standing there, and it can fly away. Could anyone believe that this is possible? This is Fred Hoyle was one of the most famous scholars of the 20th century. Professor in Oxford, in Cambridge University. This is like a big scholar saying this. He said this is the comparison. So this is actually what the atheists are believing in. They won't say it, but this is actually what they believe in when they say that human beings could come about without a creator through evolution in the way that they mention. SubhanAllah, it's really strange. So you can really understand, if you go into the scientific facts, that them denying the creator is not based on science. Science is speaking against them. It's not based on science. Rather, there are other factors that leads them to denying what is so obvious. And also one thing that is really interesting, subhanAllah, is the human eye. The human eye is extremely complicated. Subhanallah, it's just thinking about the human eye. Darwin himself, he said, to suppose that the eye could have been formed by natural selection seems, I freely confess, absurd in the highest possible degree. He's the father of evolution theory, you know. SubhanAllah, but he said it himself. And scholars have mentioned that the chance that human eye came about by evolution in the way that they mentioned that evolution came about is 1 in the 10 to the power of 266, because the human eye is so extremely complicated. But they believe in it. Why is this important to mention? Because some atheists say, I don't see any evidence for the existence of God. I don't see it. Use your eyes. Think about your eyes. And when they are saying that, they are using what? They're using something else. What are they using? Their brains. Your high-tech brain. And many scholars have mentioned that this is the most complicated thing in the whole universe. There's nothing more complicated in the universe than the human brain. that has 86 billion neurons in it that are interconnected in a very, very spectacular way, subhanallah. And they're using their brains to think and to deny the Creator, and their brains themselves, subhanallah, are an evidence for design. And what we have learned today is that everything that is designed has to have a designer. So this is the conclusion of this, this is the ending, inshallah ta'ala, of this first lecture. And tomorrow we'll continue, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, to speak about other evidences for the existence of the Creator. Wa sallallahu ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. If anyone have a question or anything like that, we can maybe take it now, or we can take it after, inshallah. It's up to you. Yes.